Pearls. How is everyone doing on this amazing Thursday morning, evening, night, noon, God knows, wherever you are in the world? I hope you're having a great Thursday, and I hope you're going to be enjoying the live with me today. It's going to be a very fun one. Today the weather in Dubai was quite interesting because it was raining, and it's not very usual for April, but the temperature is very high, and that does not stop me because I am enjoying lately those walking meditations. So I walk my dog before the live and I meditate at the same time. How fun is that? Today is all about fun. So today we're going to be together for around 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and I have a very interesting topic for you. Today I'm going to be talking about two things mainly, but within these two things there are so many things to talk about. So I'm going to be talking about having a good night's sleep and having a good morning. So waking up in a good way in the morning. I'm going to be talking about how we can do this. And if you've been following up, I have already sent something at the beginning of the week for you to work with when it comes to sleeping well at night. So if you haven't gotten that, let me know. It's somewhere on the group. Let me know and I will send it to you, which is those sounds that you can listen to, that music that you can listen to while you're sleeping to make you have a great night's sleep. Now, stay tuned till the end, because at the end of this live I have a invitation for you. So if you stick to that, to the live, you will get to know what this invitation is all about. Now, let me tell you something about me, a story about me when I used to work in the corporate world. And that was a long time ago, by the way. So when I used to work in the corporate world, I used to kind of work 24/7. I was restless. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know when to stop. I didn't know why I needed to stop. So I was working non-stop, 24/7, like you would always find me on the clock. And sleeping and waking up were like probably the most difficult tasks for me, especially when it comes to sleeping, because I thought that, time will never end, or time will always end, but the work never ends, and I have to fill my time with everything possible when it comes to work, and I need to finish everything. And I want to be that person who finishes everything on time, who delivers not to the expectations, but even higher than the expectations. And I always had, I kind of put those standards for myself. Nobody really had asked me to do that. That was me. That was all me. I was the creator of that kind of life that I was leading. So I used to sleep very little, for the wrong reasons. I still don't sleep too much or too long, but because I really don't need that many hours of sleep personally. But it's very highly recommended that you take as much as your body needs for when it comes to resting and stuff like that, right? So, but I used to stay awake working. You could find me sending emails out at 4 a.m. in the morning, at 3 a.m. in the morning, and it was so much until even talking about it, you would feel overwhelmed. You would think like, oh my God, Maysoon, how were you even able to do that? But that's not it. That's not only it. I was sleeping very late, and I would wake up really early in the morning without even breathing. So my mornings would be literally like, I open my eyes, I jump out of bed, I go to the washroom, I do everything I need to do, wash my teeth, brush my teeth, take a shower, do the needful, get dressed without even knowing what to wear, just find anything, get dressed, rush to the kitchen, do my coffee, take my coffee with me, run to the car, drive the car, get to the office, and starts another very, very, very busy day. For me, that time from jumping out of bed to getting to the office, in my head, this was a waste of time. Like, I could use this time to do a lot of work. That was how my brain used to function. That was how I used to function, and that was how my life was. And then I would stay up very late. I would even stay in the office very late. Like sometimes I used to leave the office at 12 in the morning or at 1 a.m. in the morning. I would come home and I would work again from home for a few hours before I decide that, tomorrow is another day. Even now thinking about it and talking about it is just such a stressful thing to do, even when I'm talking about it. And now I wonder, really, how was I able to lead my life this way for more than, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14 years of my life were like that. And that was until, I got a wake-up call. And I gotta say, the wake-up call came a bit late, which is, unfortunately, it wasn't a wake-up call that I asked for. It was something that was imposed on me and everyone else in the world. And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when Corona hit. And when Corona hit, everything changed. And I'm sure everything changed for everybody in the world, not just for me. Although by that time I had already left the corporate world and I was already working for myself, and I was already choosing the projects that I want to work on. And yet, the minute I get something on my plate, this was how I ran. This was how I worked. This was my process. My process was sleep very little, work until God knows when in the morning, and then sleep very little, and then wake up and rush your day and just do a million things and hold like a million. We have an Arabic saying, it's like holding like so many baskets in one hand. We usually use a watermelon. We say we're holding 10 watermelons in one hand, which is like really obviously impossible to do, right? So that was me even then, even after I left the corporate world. But, in the corporate world, it was something that I had imposed on myself because I wanted to show and I wanted to make sure I succeed and I wanted to make sure that I get recognized. But then when I started working for myself, that was my way to make myself worthy of my own work, like to kind of give myself my own satisfaction, if that makes sense. So that's what I was doing when even I was working for myself whenever I get a project. So I get heads on and that's it. And I don't breathe until everything is done and everything needed to be done perfectly. But we all know that too is impossible. So, but in my mind, this is how my mind used to work. Until, like I said, Corona hit. And then when Corona hit, there was no work. There was nothing to do. There was that calmness, that, break. And for people who work nonstop and who are always caught up with jobs to do and tasks to fulfill and making things happen for themselves, being in a situation when there's nothing for them to do, it kind of is heavy. It is heavy, and I remember when Corona first hit, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do now? This is gonna be tricky. This is gonna be like, what? And although I had already started doing this and I had already worked so hard and so much on myself and I had crossed so many levels, I was here, but then I'm here and I wanted to be like even higher. And when Corona came, I was like, okay, this is a break. What am I gonna do? What is going to happen? And it kind of reminded me that it's time for you to think of you. It's time for you to breathe. It's time for you to reflect. And it's time for you to just relax a little bit and stop going in that kind of roller coaster, right? So that's what happened when it first started. And I personally took the chance on the situation. I took the chance on myself to give myself a break that has been long overdue. Long overdue. Now I get it, because a lot of people would say, yeah, but when Corona came, it was very harmful. It was impossible for us to survive through it, and I say possibly, but that's in the past now. But because a lot of us, because we don't stop, and because we don't breathe, and because we don't reflect, and we don't think, and we're just following the pattern of our constantly moving life again and again and again and again, and everything's happening now. There's no time to breathe, there's no time to do anything. It's just things have to go as we are used to. And change doesn't come easily, change, when it hits, it's just something that people would like, hey, relax, I can't take this on right now. And this is what happened with a lot of people as well. But if you go back and think about it, even that to happen needed that still moment, that moment of standing still, nothing happening, so that we can actually take a breather, so that we can actually start thinking. Even if the thoughts that we were having then were getting out of context, or were not really mainly supporting us there and then. But I'm pretty much sure if we sit today and reflect on those days, and reflect on that time when we were locked in, when we were not allowed to go out and see people and work, when all we had to do was just, make do with what we have, whether we are with people around us or alone. And that made a difference in, for those people who were surrounded by other people, it made their kind of life dynamics change, because they had to now be in that space 24/7 with each other. And that was an opportunity to discover each other, or to discover more about each other, for those who really knew how to take that opportunity. Because some people didn't really know what to do with this opportunity. Some people went in the other direction. But that's a topic for another time. But my point is that when you are sitting on your own, and when you are kind of reflecting, or when you have the time to actually reflect and breathe, things start changing for you. And why is this important? This is very important because, everything that we do, and everything that we are about, and everything that happens is the creation of our own mind. It's the creation of this amazing creature that we are. So, and those creations are really just mainly they are our thoughts. So let me, like now when I'm talking to you, everything that I'm saying is registering as thoughts in your mind, and you are thinking of the things that I am saying, and I am thinking of what I am going to say so that I can say it to you. So our thoughts is the one thing that they never stop. Even sometimes when we are sleeping, and this is where our dreams come from, our dreams are a reflection of what's happening in our mind while we sleep. So that's why I'm telling you all of this, because when we take the time to sit and actually acknowledge the thoughts that we have, acknowledge the thoughts that come to us in our brain, and give them their like weight, understand why we are thinking the thoughts that we are thinking, question the thoughts that we have. And when we do that, things start changing for us in our lives, because now we are more in tuned, we are more in touch with what's happening, we are more in touch with who we are, we're more in touch with our reality, we're more in touch with our essence, basically. And then we can start even questioning, because sometimes when we think, a lot of times actually, when we think, we are coming from a place of being bombarded by everything that is around us, being literally collecting info from here, there, and everywhere, in our brain, in our mind, in our being, in our senses, in everything that we do. So the more we do that, the more clutter we have in our thoughts, the more clutter we have in our brain. Especially today, when we look at social media, when we look at how exposed we are. If we go back, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years ago, that exposure was not there. Today we have this exposure. We are exposed, and we expose ourselves to things that we just, make it part of our life. And the more we do that, the more clutter we have. The more we, let's say, like if I, personally, for example, I have stopped watching TV since maybe 2 years now, 2 years or 3 years. I haven't watched the news since the big explosion that took place in Lebanon, which is my home country. Like that incident in my life was also another trigger for me, or another pivot point, or a major point of transformation, because I decided, that's not how I want to live. That's not where I want to be. I want to be in a place where I am more productive. I want to be in a place where I'm more positive, where my essence and my true being can actually be of service to others, rather than being that person who is, pulled down by all these energies. And if I want to support, I need to be on a higher level. I need to be in a higher vibration. So I took a very conscious decision that I'm gonna stop watching, because I was watching that for 2 months non-stop, and I was crying my eyes out, because it was also very emotional to me. This is my home country, and this is happening to my people, the people that I have lived with. I have family there. And then I decided, and I thought, how am I helping, if I'm always so negative and I'm always so down? How is this helping me, and how is this helping anyone else outside of me? And that's how I decided, this is not happening. The thoughts that I was having, and this is the major topic, that's why I'm mentioning this, because the thoughts that I was having at that time were all so negative. They were all so destructive. They were all so tensed. So all that I was like I put myself under my own microscope, and I was criticizing everything around me as if it's all about me, as if I'm like the one doing all of this. But I wasn't. And this is when I realized, oh, okay, this is not me. And because it's not me, I'm gonna stop it. And because I am not about the news, and I'm not the news, I'm gonna stop watching the news. And because I'm not about, silly stuff and shallow stuff, so I'm gonna stop following the silly stuff and the shallow stuff. And unfortunately, sometimes with the exposure that we have these days to social media, we find ourselves kind of subjected to this, whether or subjected, well, whether we like it or not, and it just comes to us because of algorithms that are running on on our phones or on our laptops or what have you. But then again, those algorithms will change once you change your behavior, and when your behavior changes, everything else around you changes. And this is exactly what happened with me, realizing that I needed to change my behavior around very specific topics in my life. And sleeping and waking up in the morning were two of these topics that I wanted to change, or that I preferred to have run differently in my life. And that's what I did. I did that major change for almost every single aspect in my life has changed since then. Every single aspect in my life have moved from one place to another because I took that decision, that very conscious decision, to make that change. And I only was able to take that very conscious decision when I took a time off to breathe, when I took a time off to think. And that time off did not have to be Corona. It could have been anything, It started even before Corona. Corona was like the major, like the more or the most obvious shift. But my whole stuff started before that. I remember I used to run events for clients before Corona hit, way before Corona hit. And I remember the stress I was living at that time was impossible. I remember waking up in the night, having panic attacks, hardly able to breathe, waking up with nausea, wanting to throw up. I mean, it was this bad because of the pressure I was putting myself under. And again, no one imposed that on me. And I'm pretty much sure that if you are here and you're watching this, you would be thinking, oh my God, Mason, this is so true. Nobody asks me to work 24/7. I decide to do it. Nobody asks me to be under pressure all the time in my work. I decide to put that pressure on myself. Nobody puts it on me, And I'm pretty sure a lot of you resonate with this. A lot of people resonate with this because this is what we do. This is what we do. We expect so much because this is how we've been brought up, because this is how the whole system runs, When we were kids, I'm pretty much sure that most of you, and myself included, we were always asked to do more. We were always asked to be better. We were always, that comparison never stopped when we were kids. Why is your brother better than you? Or why is your cousin better than you? Why can they get better grades and you can't? And all those, and your brother is eating, you're not eating. Why aren't you eating? Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you? All of this, even if they're not telling us that they expect us to be like better, or that they expect us to fulfill things or to do things, they don't have to say it word to word, because we kind of our brains are very smart, our subconscious mind is actually very smart, by the way, very smart. Otherwise, how do you think we can live our lives if that subconscious mind was not smart? I mean, it tells us how to breathe, it tells us how to walk, how to talk, how to digest our food, how to sleep at night, how to, without our heart stopping, and without our digestion stopping, and without our blood circulating. Can you imagine how smart that system is? So anything that we subject it to, it's gonna be learning. It's gonna be learning. Our subconscious mind doesn't stop learning. And the more we feed it, the more it learns. And that's why, when we work with the subconscious mind, or when we talk about the subconscious mind, we always say that we gotta be doing things over and over and over again, so that we learn to do them on autopilot, kind of. You know, like when, let's say, when you learn how to drive, or in my case, like when I learned how to ride a bike. When I started riding a bike, I had zero clue how to do it. I really knew nothing, you know. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna ride a bike. So when I got on the bike, I started learning, and I couldn't have become a good biker if I hadn't been practicing. So practice and practice and practice, like the saying says, practice makes perfect. But yeah, practice makes things way much better. And now today when I get on a bike, I don't think, because before I used to like, okay, now I have to put the first gear, now I have to put the second gear, now I have to do this, now I have to do that. And these were thoughts that were running in my conscious mind, you know, all the time in my consciousness. I needed to be aware of these things so that I can ride my bike at the very beginning. But then with repetition, these things are being done today on autopilot. My subconscious mind, which is my body, knows exactly what to do. My body doesn't need any reminder anymore, because she, since I'm a she, knows exactly what to do. So that's how important it is when we are in that process of figuring our thoughts out. And if you think of the number of thoughts, I mean, there are so many studies. Some studies say that we think 7,000 thoughts a day. Some studies go up to 75,000 thoughts a day. Even if we stick to the 7,000, I mean, can you imagine 7,000 thoughts a day? Even if I want to stick to that, which probably might not be very accurate, but you know. So if I have all these thoughts happening in my mind and I have zero control on them, if my mind or my subconscious mind was not aware of the process of what do you call it, you know, elimination. So we kind of eliminate a lot of the thoughts that come to us before we grab the the juicy thoughts, or like the good thoughts, you know. We are subjected to this many thoughts, and then we kind of sieve them as they come to us, and then we choose the ones that really are important for us. Even when we do that process, we are thinking so much. So like I said, like when I used to wake up in the morning and jump out of bed, like opening my eyes is a thought. Jumping out of bed is a thought. Rushing to the bathroom, that's a thought. Brushing my teeth, thought. Washing my face, thought. Showering, thought. Wondering what to dress, thought. Everything that we do is a thought. Right now, everything I'm doing, even moving my hands, is a thought. Now, whether I'm conscious about it or not, that's a different story. But it's a thought. It's like an order that either I'm giving from my brain to my body, or my body is taking as it has become on autopilot. But it started as an order, and it is an order. So this is how many thoughts we have. And if we are to sleep our days, like to go to bed every single day with all of these thoughts in our mind, without giving ourselves the time to breathe, the time to relax, the time to just reflect, and you know, and maybe not even reflect. Sometimes you just want time to think of nothing. And how amazing that is. And this is why meditation is very important. Because when we meditate, although we are thinking, we get to a place where we have thoughts, and we need to acknowledge those thoughts. But then we acknowledge them, but they don't take over, and we breathe. And breathing is so powerful and so important, so that we can be anchored and present again, instead of living in our thoughts and, you know, struggling with our thoughts. So imagine this was my whole life, and I'm pretty sure many of you resonate with this, and many of you might be thinking now, Mason, this is not only you, trust me, this is me as well. This is my partner. My father's like that. Oh, my mom is like that. Oh, my sister is like that. All my friends are like that. You know? Because we are human beings, and because this is how life around us, and this is how everything that's happening these days, specifically, you know, with the ups and downs in the world, with the economy going down in some places, and, you know, a lot of places things are flourishing, and the whole planet is kind of revisiting its whole existence, with us included. And we are doing the same, you know. We are thinking, remember, we always, like, I always tell you, please do that. Stop and ask yourself, what is it that I'm here to do? Why am I here? Who am I? What? No, you know, ask those big questions, because those big questions will only get you to bigger places and better places. So when you stop and when you breathe, this is when you realize that there is time for you to do that. Life is not all about let's rush and let's do everything now and there and then, and I have to finish everything, and I have to be the best, I have to be the most perfect one in the world, and, you know, I have to do everything right, and I have to do everything now, you know. So instead of doing that, I took a decision personally that I'm going to change. I'm going to change that for me. I'm going to change that because it wasn't really serving me. It was serving me one point in time when I was doing my work and when I was excelling. Yes, it was serving me. But even then, I didn't have to do it with so much burden. I didn't have to do it with so much struggle. I could have done all that work without having to struggle, and you know, these are things that we work on. For example, when we work on limiting beliefs, because a lot of people think that they cannot really achieve things unless they struggle, but that's also a limiting belief. That's a belief that, why should I go through so much struggle just to achieve stuff? Why can I not achieve stuff without having to struggle? And these are things that you know, when you work on your limiting beliefs, these are things that you actually release from your subconscious mind, because these are like kind of sitting there and taking control, because they've been there for so long. You've been doing this for so long. You've been teaching your body for so long to become that body and that subconscious mind of yours. And you need a very conscious decision. You would want to take, or you would prefer to take a very conscious decision to do this, to actually move in the direction of, you know what, no, I'm going to change, and I'm going to change for the better. And then you put your plan, and my plan was related to how I lead my day, how I start my day. When I decided to do this, and when I took myself in that place, the change happened like almost overnight for me. I changed, like, even my body, even my face was like, oh my God, yes, see, she's more toned, she's more relaxed, and it shows, you know. So what I decided to do, I decided to make sure that every morning, although I sleep with my phone close by, because I put you know, sleep meditations and sleep music in the background, so my phone has to be close by with the speaker, but I never ever open my eyes and look at the phone. Like, I only look at the phone maybe 2 hours after I am awake, not before then, unless really there's something very major happening and that requires my attention. But other than that, and I always say, you know, if there's something wrong, or if there's something bad happening, or if there's something really bad, and like the saying goes, bad news travels fast, or good news travels fast, bad news travels faster, or something like that. But the point is that bad news travels very fast. So if there's something bad, people will find a way to reach me. If it's not through my phone, they will just knock at the door, So that was one major thing that I decided to do. So no phone in the morning. And the no phone in the morning does not just mean no phone in the morning. It means when I wake up in the morning, I keep my eyes closed. And you know what? I want you to write those down, and I want you to try them. Well, I don't want you, because there's nothing that I can impose on you. Feel free to write those down and feel free to try them. So before I do anything, I just wake up internally without opening my eyes. And that's like waking up with your eyes shut is such a beautiful feeling that you can express, like that you can feel, and that you can also internally express to yourself that I'm awake. And for those of you who didn't know, like when you wake up in the morning, your brainwave is in the alpha brainwave, right? Your brain is on the alpha brainwave, and the alpha brainwave is a brainwave that is a very high vibrational wave. And normally when you wake up in the morning, your serotonin level, which is the happy hormone, it's called the happy hormone for a reason, because it's a happy hormone. It makes you feel happy. So the serotonin levels in the morning are at their highest. And what happens is when you wake up in the morning and you just jolt out of bed, you kind of like destroy that moment. So you want to make sure that you actually benefit from the presence of the serotonin, which is the happy hormone, and feel that happiness from within. So keep your eyes shut, at least for 2-3 minutes. Keep them shut and just breathe. And just breathe and do nothing. Do nothing. And just try to do it. Sit in your heart. Like, think from your heart. Or move from your heart. Or breathe from your heart. And you do this consciously, but then with time it becomes such a pattern, because remember, your body, your subconscious mind learns through repetition. So the more you repeat it, the more it becomes something that you do subconsciously. You just wake up this way in the morning. So you center yourself in your heart. Keep your eyes shut. Take a breath in. Center yourself in your heart. And keep on breathing. And if you do that for just 5 minutes in the morning, it's not like you have to do this for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. If you do that for 5 minutes in the morning, I can guarantee you that the rest of your day will be as smooth as those 5 minutes. And look, I'm a very realistic person, and I can understand that sometimes you have things that come up during your day that require your full attention and your full concentration, and sometimes you get edgy, and sometimes you get angry, and sometimes you get pissed off, and you want to do something. I want to remind you, I don't know how you remember, but make it a point for yourself to have this, I don't know, maybe put post-its all over the place, wherever you are, in your office or at home, to remind you of those 5 minutes in the morning. So maybe you can put like, remember to breathe. I don't know, like remember to breathe. Yeah, how good is that? Just to post it anywhere, everywhere in the house. Remember to breathe. And when you see it, you just remember to breathe, and you remember those 5 minutes in the morning that made your morning taste nice, smell nice, look nice, seem nice, feel nice. Even now when I'm telling you about it, I personally feel like, oh, this is so exciting, So try this. That's the first thing. No phone in the morning, people. Please, I beg you. It's for you. It's not for me. I'm not living your life. I'm not sitting in your shoes. But I'm just showing you how it looks from my shoes. So, wouldn't you like to be in those shoes? That's number one. Number two, be present. When I say be present, what do you think be present means? Like, because we are in the present tense, right? However, when we wake up in the morning, or not now, I don't do this anymore, but I used to wake up in the morning thinking of everything that went wrong the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that. So I had zero clue what being in the present moment means until I started practicing being in the present moment. You know, the past is gone. And if we keep on thinking about it, if we keep on living it, our body is so accustomed to the things that we teach it, right? So if I keep on thinking of, I'm going to give you a very simple example. Sometimes you can be sitting with people having so much fun, like partying and, listening to music and dancing, and then a thought, see how important this is? A thought comes to your mind reminding you of, I don't know, an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend, something that they used to do, for example, when you used to go out, and all of a sudden, your whole body becomes living a completely different reality. You're not here anymore. You shrink. You feel sad. You feel bad about it, and you start living in the past because it's not happening now. Hello. You are sitting among people who are very happy, very jolly. The music is so loud, and yet, with one thought, you managed to go back to live in that very specific moment, bringing all the emotions of that moment back with you. And this is where your body starts living, because your body is so used to it. It's a habit. So this is what I mean by being present. Being present means live in the now, live in the moment. And to be present in the morning means, instead of you thinking of what happened the day before, and oh my God, now I'm gonna have to go and answer this email, and oh my God, now am I gonna do this? What am I gonna do with that? How am I gonna deal with this? Instead of coming from that place, open your eyes and look around you, wherever you are. Like when you wake up in the morning, you're in your bedroom, and what I highly recommend you to do, and try it. I used to sleep with the curtains closed, because the minimum light that comes in would wake me up. I trained myself to sleep with the curtains open, because the first thing that I want to see in the morning is I want to see the sunlight. I want to be able to see the sunlight. I want to be able to wake up to the sunlight, instead of waking up because of an alarm, or instead of waking up because so many thoughts are playing in my head, because I used to do that as well. Waking up all in panic because I was stressed at, what am I going to do? How am I going to do things? So now, my curtains are open. I wake up and I savor the moment. I look at the sunlight and I enjoy it and I savor it, and I open my ears. So all of this is you being present, right? Opening your eyes, looking around you, enjoying what you're seeing. Listening, using your ears. I listen, like for example, for me in the morning, the best thing about my mornings is listening to the birds outside chirping. I mean, this probably is the best music I can listen to in the morning. Although when I wake up in the morning, I'm still listening to the music from last night, from the night before, yeah? I switch that off, and sometimes it finishes if it's like a long night's sleep. So I switch that off, or it's already off, and I listen to the music that the birds are playing for me. I listen to the music that the wind is playing for me. And this is how beautiful this is. Can you imagine? I mean, like if you are in that place where you think what is happening outside is really happening for you, rather than a lot of people think that everything is happening outside of them to them, you know, instead of coming from that place where, okay, why is this happening to me? To me, like you become that victim. Everything happens for you. So remember that when you wake up in the morning, the beauty of that sunlight is happening for you. The beautiful music that the birds are doing, that the wind is doing, is happening for you. And I have something else that I personally have, because I have my dog, who's sleeping right there now. I love, you know, showing him so much love in the morning. Like for me, and he loves it. He's like, he enjoys it. He's like, he sits there with his belly up and just, you know, and I tell him belly rub, and he just moves around and he wants me to rub his belly because he loves that. He loves my mornings. So I'm pretty much sure that I love my morning too, my mornings. And one very, very beautiful thing that I learned to do every morning, and I want you to try it. I really, really recommend you try this. Everything that I'm telling you, I actually recommend that you try, but this one is really amazing. Put a smile on your face. Like when you wake up in the morning, when you open your eyes, and when you listen, when you hear the music that nature is playing for you, put a smile on your face. Always remember, the way you start your day is really going to be the way the whole day goes. I used to be very skeptical about this, but the more I practiced it, the more it became real. It became a reality. I kid you not. I wake up in the morning so jolly, like the serotonin hormone keeps on going with me throughout the day. And those who know me will tell you that this is true. Like I'm jolly, I'm like fun, and I am like that. I didn't used to be like this. Okay, I used to be funny and all, but I used to know what stress means. I used to be stressful. I used to be very upset sometimes. I used to get like really triggered. Not anymore. And that all is because of these habits that I have created for myself in the morning. And I didn't create them for myself just out of nowhere. I mean, I had to go through a lot to come here, to get here. I learned from people. I opened my eyes. I read so many books. I watched so many documentaries. I did all the work that needs to be done for me to get here. I'm giving you this on a plate of silver. Silver plate or a gold plate. Or a diamond plate. All three work, you know? But you're having this information and it's coming to you free of charge. Use it. The third thing that's very important, or that's for me became one of the many things that I have changed in my life, and that is learning how to meditate and how to journal. And when it comes to those, what's most important is, you know, when you think, it's important, but sometimes thinking on its own does not make things happen. Because if you just think and you don't act, the thought will be a thought. It will stay a thought. But the minute you start acting on it, then it becomes a reality. And this is how we are in control of our reality. We think and then we execute. executions don't come just out of nowhere. I mean, obviously, yes, sometimes our subconscious mind, which is our body, tells us that we need to execute in a certain way because we have taught it this way. We taught our subconscious mind what to do, when to do it. But everything started with a thought. So the third thing that I do in the morning is I meditate. So after going through the no phone, none of this, and then after making sure that I'm present, and obviously when you are meditating, you want to be present. You are present when you are meditating. And journaling. Now, meditating and journaling come together. Why? Because when you put those thoughts in writing, you're kind of acknowledging them. You are giving them a very specific dynamic. You're giving them life. And the more you give life to your thoughts, the more they become manifestable, if that's a word. You know what I mean? The more you write them down, the more you are aware and kind of taking notes, the easier it will become for your subconscious mind to even learn them faster. And obviously, repetition is very, very important and key. And this is why you do this every morning. Because sometimes people will tell me, but I don't have anything to write. I challenge you. I challenge them. And I ask them, okay, if you don't have anything to write, just write down the things that you wrote the day before. Like if you are to, like when you are journaling, the first thing that you want to do, you want to write down. I like to start with anything that is an opportunity for me to excel or to become better. So any challenges that I go through where I have an opportunity to make things better for myself. So I like to start with those. Like I had 1 challenge, 2 challenge, blah, blah, blah. And, this is how I might be able to fix it. Or this is an opportunity for me to excel. This is an opportunity for me to make things better for myself. So that's 1. The second thing that you want to definitely do when you are journaling is you want to list everything that you are grateful for. Everything that you already have in your life and you are grateful for. So number 1 is list all the moments or all the opportunities that you have for you to grow. These are I call them growth opportunities. So the challenges that you face are growth opportunities. They're not challenges. They're growth opportunities. They are the opportunities that you give yourself to become a better person. Number 2, list everything that you are grateful for in your life. And number 3, everything that you desire, everything that you prefer to have in your life. And once you do all those 3, and I finish with everything that you desire, because when you do everything that you desire at the very end, and then you start the meditation, that's where you're going to be focusing on everything that you desire when you meditate. And this is how you can manifest things in your life. You sit and you take a breath, like obviously you breathe, and those thoughts of everything that you desire, remember, all of these are what? Are thoughts. And how you formulate them when you write them down are your words. Or when you say them even, these are your words. And that's the importance of the combination between the two, your thoughts and your words. They kind of come hand in hand, right? So you want to be very aware of your choice of words when you want to formulate a thought or when you want to express a thought. So for example, let me give you an example. If you want to manifest something in your life, like you want to manifest having I don't know, an amazing or a partner, a great partner in your life, and you've been through a lot in your life. So if I ask you, let's say, for example, what do you want? Like, what kind of partner do you want in your life? And the first thing that people do most of the time is they start listing the things that they don't want in that person. Like, I don't want someone to treat me bad. I don't want someone to betray me. I don't want someone to be nasty to me. I don't want someone to be greedy. I don't want someone, instead of listing the I don't want, because your body doesn't understand that, right? Because when you say I don't want, how are you feeling? You're feeling down. I don't want someone who betrays me. You're feeling hurt. I don't want someone who is greedy, feeling like you don't deserve, you're not worthy. I don't want, these are your feelings when you say I don't want whatever it is. Recognize that feeling. Your body will recognize the feeling. Your body does not understand I don't want. That's your body being your subconscious mind, right? Does not understand I don't want. It only associates whatever you're saying to the feeling that is coming out of whatever you're saying. Does that make sense? So if you keep on saying things that you don't want, and your body is understanding that these are the feelings that you are having, so it's kind of like an algorithm, exactly like an algorithm. If this is what you are feeding your body is going to go and look for situations where your body is going to find that exact same food. Does that make sense? If it's not making sense, please let me know. But this is exactly how your subconscious mind works. So instead of saying I don't want, list your desires. I prefer to have a conscious man in my life. I prefer to have an aware man in my life. I prefer to have a loyal man in my life, or woman. I mean, obviously I'm talking from my shoes, being a woman. I prefer to have a generous man in my life. I prefer to have a communicator in my life, someone who can communicate, someone who can, who is romantic, someone who is, instead of saying, I don't want someone who's greedy, I don't want someone who's, who doesn't speak to me, I don't want someone who sulks, I don't want. So, your choice of thoughts and your choice of words is critical when it comes to manifesting and deciding what you prefer to have in your life and what you desire to have in your life. And those thoughts, when you put them on paper and you move to the meditation exercise and you are kind of embodying those thoughts with all the calmness, with all the presence that you have from the previous exercise, because now you've learned to be present, right? And when you're meditating, if bad thoughts come to you, just acknowledge them and breathe. Focus again on your breathing and continue with your meditation by focusing on the desires that you want in your life, that you prefer to have in your life. And from there, when you open your eyes, you are already geared up with joy, with fun, with confidence, with happiness, because remember, the happy hormone is still there, it didn't go because you didn't just let it go by bombarding yourself with all those to do, no. It's like gunshots. No, you're taking things easy, you're relaxing, you're savoring the moment, and that, I can assure you, will gear you up to have an amazing, positive, confident, joyful, elevated day by starting your morning this way. So just to recap, no phone in the morning, be present, don't think in the past, just be present, and journal and meditate. Journal and meditate come together because they're going to be hand in hand, so that you can manifest everything that you want in your life, and so that you can start your day with joy and fun and a big, big smile on your face. Now, my invitation to you, my friends, is if you are in a place where you think there's nothing for you to work from, there's nothing for you to even start from, to go in that direction, if you are living in that stress all the time, if you are stuck in stagnating and always doing the same things and never finding that way out, and if you think that, Maysoon has got some answers, and maybe, just maybe, she's that person who can hold my hand through this all. This is my invitation to you. If you feel this way, all you need to do is let me know, and we can get on a call together. I can understand where you are in your life today. I can figure out things with you, and together we can already start working on, I'll share with you some tools. You will get some inspirations. You will start working on things from your side. And by the end of the call, if I find that what I am able to offer you will actually help you, and if I find that working with me is the right thing for you, I will show you how working with me looks like. And from there, we will take it together and we can conquer the world. And with that, my dear pearls, I will say have a great end of your Thursday. If you haven't woken up today, if you haven't woken up yet and you're watching this yesterday, for those who are somewhere else in the world, I hope you will be able to go through those 3 things and do them tomorrow morning for you, even if not today, tomorrow, and tell me what happens. I would like to hear back from you. Now, if you are ready to move forward and you would like to have this call with me, I'm going to share the link in the replay post, and I'm going to also ask you here to comment. Say, let's say, what do you want to say? Say, let's manifest. Okay? So let's manifest together that you have great mornings and great nights and great days moving forward. And with that, I'm going to wish you a great end of the day and a great weekend ahead. And I'll see you again next week. Ciao, ciao.